Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Hi.
And as always, thank you for giving us your time and thank you for being at Unluck Gamer Talks. We are already at the eighth episode. First of all, I will say sorry if you hear my voice a bit robotic. In this case, it's not the mic, it's me. I'm not at 100%, so maybe this one will be a slightly shorter episode. We will see. In case this is the first time that you follow us or you hear us. I am Diego Cutie. I am a creative director in the game industry. I have working in games by 16 years now. I have worked in AAA, I have worked in AA, in indie, in mobile, everywhere. The last title for which you might know me are Star Overdrive, which is currently on Nintendo Switch. 1 month ago has been released and is going great. We have a lot of good reviews, both from critics and from the audience. And soon, actually, now we can say that it's true. You can buy it on Steam. It will be in June, end of June. Also, you might know me for the creative direction of A Quiet Place and an older game. And very recently, I have released my second book that you can find on Amazon. Don't force yourself to buy it; it's not a problem. But if you're interested in game business, this is something that I'm very proud of making these games because I'm proud that Italians people are actually putting themselves into the international. But also, I'm very proud because I think this book was very, very important. Last things, this is a friendly chit chat. So feel free to say hi, feel free to ask questions, feel free to do whatever you want. It's a nice chit chat for 40 minutes. Very simple, very relaxed.
Yeah. So before introducing myself, first of all, congratulations, Diego, on the new book. The first one
Thank you.
was an absolute hit. If I remember correctly, you went sold out at GDC the year it
Yes,
came
it
out.
went sold out at GDC.
That was
This one got
incredible.
released after GDC, so maybe next year. We don't know.
We'll see. So anyway, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm Uriel Cozzolino. I'm a game designer, I'm a teacher, and currently I'm working on Dino Patrol with the team Void Pointer. And actually, we are getting very close. The game is going to come out in about 3 days. So on the 9th of May.
Put a link,
Uh,
please.
oh, yeah, I will. So after almost 4 years of developing, we are finally getting close, and I will give you the link here in the private chat, Diego.
Perfect. I'll put it right
So
away.
yeah, that's me. And today we are going to talk about once again another cooperative game that we have been playing recently, actually, together, and this is Darksiders Genesis.
Exactly. So let's talk about Darksider Genesis. Now, in case once again, this is the first time, also there is someone watching us, so thank you for giving us your time. What is Darksider Genesis? Darksider Genesis is actually the third game, and so far the last. We never got a fourth Darksider of the Darksider series. Now, the Darksider series is a franchise of games. I'm gonna put a video of Darksider Genesis in the meantime. Darksiders Genesis walkthrough. Is the third one of a series of game based on loosely the Christian mythology. What is the Christian mythology? It's basically the expanded of the Old Testament and New Testament. Specifically, this game is considered loose in spite of that because also is based on the not canon. I don't know if you know that people that is watching us, the non-canon evangelized. Basically, there are certain books in the Bible that are considered canon, and certain books that are not considered canon. There we go. This is the first. Maybe this one is best. And this one is considered on the let's say also non-canon books. So it's talking about the story of the apocalypse from the point of view of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, which are war, famine, death, and basically disease. I don't remember exactly the name of disease. And this is Genesis, so it's a prequel of the first Darksider, in which you're war, and you're fighting to stop the apocalypse, actually, because the apocalypse started earlier than what it was supposed to happen. And in the second one, you are deaf and you are collaborating. So in this one, you are interpreting war and you are interpreting famine. No, strife. There we go. That's the name. Strife. Basically,
Yes.
strife. And this game is a co-op game and also is a single player game. In the case of single player, you are playing both characters. You can switch between them. And in case of co-op, you are free to explore completely freely the uh, the game as two separate characters. And let's start with the gameplay. Actually, what do you think? While I search for an example of co-op, what do you think of the gameplay?
So the game was a nice throwback to earlier times for me because of the vertical split screen that we can see in co-op and very hack and slash mechanics top down. It reminded me very much of some games I played on PlayStation 2. About the gameplay, it it was engaging enough, but sometimes it lacked a little bit of fluidity. It felt a bit clunky in some situations. Then again, we haven't played the whole game because of reasons that I think we will say during the live. So I don't know if something would have come out later in the game that maybe could have justified this or could have made us say something like, "Oh, but it was extremely good, cool." In my opinion, up to the time where we have played, it was an okayish game, a good spin-off.
Yes, I agree. I want to start saying that I played Darksiders 1 and Darksiders 2, and I enjoyed them. And Darksider 1 and Darksider 2 are both hack and slash game in third person single player. So changing into this kind of like isometric game was definitely something that I didn't expect it for the series at first. It's a kind of like Diablo esque game. And why we abandoned this game? Because actually, I think this game suffer for what basically Uriel told, which is mediocrity. Also, someone join us. Thank you for watching us. Feel free to say hi
Yeah.
and to ask question and everything. So, is Darksider Genesis a bad game? No, it is not a bad game. But is Darksider Genesis a mediocre game? Yes, it's so mediocre. And why is that is a problem, in my opinion? Because mediocrity in gameplay, especially, it's something very difficult to make you finish the game. That's the main problem. Because I have infinite game to play. Okay, I am at my second playthrough of Baldur's Gate, so it's basically 500 hours that I played by Baldur's Gate. I have Clay Obscure. I have Kingdom Come Deliverance to play. I have so much stuff to play. I want to play Masterpiece, or I want to play games that have uniqueness. This is me, or they are exactly my type of game. They do exactly what I want. When a game is mediocre, I probably have other 10 games that can satisfy that specific craving, and I don't stay. That's for me is the problem. Why I consider this game mediocre? Mainly because of the depth of the combat. Now, as you can see in the co-op, the combat is basically War is a melee character and Strife is a range character, which makes sense and it's good separating characters for that. But the combat is so basic. You have one combo for War, basically shooting for Strife. You have one special ability that you can spam and one ultimate that you can do sometimes, and that's it. Yes, you unlock another ability for War, and you unlock a bit of special bullets for Strife. Ah, there we go. This is the ability.
Mhm.
But that's it.
It's not changing the gameplay.
Exactly. It's very basic. It's it with normal abilities. Sometimes use the special. When you have enough things, use the charge, use the ultimate, and repeat. Very basic, very simple, and you don't have real interaction with the other character, or at least that's what I felt. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually agree, and I also suffered a little bit the same problem in the whole structure of the game and of the progression. I think after the tutorial, all the missions started to feel alike. Basically, we arrived in the map. We had to arrive to 4 checkpoints or to unlock like 4 things in this small open-ended map, and a new objective unlocked in the center, usually a boss battle or something like that.
That's
You
it.
solve that, and you go back to the hub, and now you start all over again. So while the setting was every time very different, nice, different enemies, it was mainly just a skin. The actual
Exactly.
gameplay and the actual loop was always the same. And since it was not, as you said, a very deep core loop, it got old very quickly.
Exactly, exactly. And actually, we talked, in a previous about the uniqueness of the camera in
Mm-mm. A
A
way
Way
out.
Out, and this one doesn't have that. Simple, basic camera. They stay in the middle. You can go separate ways. This is one of this typical co-op game that, for me, suffer from a problem, which is it's not really a co-op game. It's an efficient single-player game. What do I mean by that? In this game, you can go very far away from each other, which is kind of rare in a co-op game, and you can compete for you can complete a different objective. For example, in the second levels, I'll go here.
Mhm.
The second levels, you have kind of like 4 objectives to complete at the same times, and you can do that. You can complete them. Like I complete one, the other person complete another one, and this is not co-op. This is just efficiency. Yes, I'm faster,
Mhm.
and oh, hi, thank you for being here, Mattia. Thank you for stopping by and say hi.
Ah,
We appreciate that. And in the future, feel free to join us. Actually, we should do it once. And thank you.
yeah.
And I would say it's just efficiency. You're not really doing co-op. You're just being more efficient at doing single player.
Yeah,
And
we
that's
are
it.
just playing in the same map.
Exactly. It's MMO efficiency. Like, oh, I'm with a random person, and if we beat the bad guy in two, will be faster than beating the bad guy alone, and also will be slightly easier because maybe I can rest someone else and things like that. But it's not co-op. My power don't create opening for your powers. Yes, you have once again you have resting. Yes, you have resting. But it's not that my ultimate create a space for yours. So it's not that if I use my ultimate at the same time of your ultimate, maybe we do like a super combo ultimate or
Mhm.
stuff like that. It's just purely that we are more efficient at fighting together because we have
Double the
double the
damage.
output,
Yeah.
and that's it. And that's why the game it's mediocre for me because once again, having all the difficulties of a co-op without then adding the interesting element of a co-op, for me it's a huge waste of resources. At this point, it was better making a single player game uh, that felt deeper because you had the double the resources and other stuff like that. It could have been on Strife alone because Strife was a new character, maybe 4 games, one for each of the horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah, it would have made sense. So once again, we are saying stuff similar to what we have already said for the ninja game last time.
Gami.
Yes, Aragami, thanks.
Again,
It's a
too specific.
similar, yes, it's a similar, it's similar stuff. If you want to spend your resources, your developing resources on adding a co-op, you should make sure that it's worth it. That the game will get something back from that.
Exactly. It's
This
so
is not
important.
really the case.
It is super, super important. And now, science, actually, you say something very true there. We already discussed that. Let's talk about something the last time we didn't because we basically complained. And let's give how will how would you fix this type of problem? Single player efficiency co-op. What is your design point of views, and what is the our watchers' design point of view to fix this type of games?
Mhm. Okay, so very interesting. I think first of all, there should be motivation for the players to actually act together on something. And there are a few ways that we can do that. Um, First of all, it's pretty the most linear maybe one. It's we as developer add some prerequisite in the game, and for you player to be able to surpass them, you need to actually collaborate with your teammate. So you need to be together, you need to act together. Maybe some times event, you need to do something at the correct timing. At the same time, etc. But I think more interestingly, it would be something on the actual actions of the players. So new actions that can be performed only by doing those together. So you were making a few examples before.
1 second, Uriel.
Yes.
Someone new join us, so thank you for giving us your time. And the question that feel free to write, leave us your opinion, is how would you fix games like Darksiders from a design point of view, which are single player experience in two players? So it's just about efficiency instead of real cooperation. Please continue, Uriel.
Okay. So adding new mechanics, new actions for the players that they can only perform by doing those together. So as you were saying before, um, having powers that mix together. I can think of many examples from, for example, hero shooters, where the ultimate of one hero will work in great combo with some others. So maybe I can stun the enemies for a certain amount of time, while the other has a super powerful AoE attack, so they can work together. Things like those will give players some more interesting gameplay moments to actually work together inside the game.
Interesting. Interesting. For me, I fully agree with that. Of course, you need abilities. For me, there is also a very important level that it's not often seen, even in good co-op games, which is you need necessities. Now, something that I always say in my course is that one of the greatest power that a game designer has is that is able to create problem and ask the player to solve them. Usually, the example that I give is that you can throw someone in the water and then say them, "Hey, save yourself. Here is I don't know an object. Build a raft and save yourself." Of course, if you do that in real life, it will be attempt murder, and so don't do it. So what do I mean by saying necessities? To create that, let's watch what is happening right now. And they're happening right now, or a few seconds ago actually, was that the two characters, and actually I will go to the next fight because in any case the next fight will happen again. There we go. Is that the two characters are fighting the same enemies, but the two characters don't need each other. Okay, war can beat everyone, and strife can beat everyone. They are just adding their damage. And here's the problem: there is no necessity. Instead, if I have a Kata, for example, an enemy that is immune to physical damage, then I need strife. I need strife to beat someone. And vice versa, if I have a Kata that is immune to range damage, then I need war. If I have a Kata that needs to be stunned before it can get damage, then I need the special ability of war of stunning. Or maybe if I have a Kata that can get damage only if he's close, then the special hand ability to attract people of war will be useful because this Kata will run away. And this is the main concept for me of necessity. If I create enemies, now why I'm always talking about enemies in this case? Because this is a game about beating people. So that's the main concept of the game. But if I have problems that requires more Kata to be solved, then I have the necessity of co-op. In that way, the best way to think that is actually Baldur's Gate. Now I know what you're saying. Baldur's Gate, it can be a single player game. And yes. But thinking if you don't have a character with high charisma, you don't have the ability to convince people to sell you stuff, or to have deception, or to have how it's called, intimidation. If you don't have a character that has turned undead, then you can't perform that specific ability. If you done the character that does this, so each of the classes in a D&D fight has weaknesses and advantages that make that class, oh, we are so lucky that we have that specific class that does that specific action. And this is what you want. Now, of course, in D&D, it's also in some way easier because you don't have also fighting. You have fighting, you have talking, you have exploration, you have, conceptually speaking, whatever you want. Medicine. But even in fight, you can have stuff like that. Also, we have here an answer from Buffy. Like you were saying before, designing a combo system to make some enemies outplaying together is kind of a must. Increase the eye difficulty so that you have to cooperate, or even better, designing additional mechanics for a already 16 enemy to optimize production. Very good way. Of course, it takes resources to do that, but I guess that if you want to have a valid co-op mode, you have to take into account puzzle, unique solution enemies, like you freeze him so become vulnerable. Exactly. This is a great point that you take out, which is if you have all the difficulties of doing a co-op, because a co-op is difficult because just simply having two cameras at the same time is a nightmare in production, then you have to design things in a way that makes sense. And while you're correct to say having higher difficulty in enemy is in some way an easy solution, is the second point. You have to have unique solutions that require one or both character to be present in order to be solved. And this is a super valid point. Also, someone new join us. Thank you for giving us your time and give your opinion on how to fix co-op game that are actually single player efficiency gameplay. Any other idea for you, Uriel?
I was actually reflecting on what you were saying, and yeah, I think you touched the main point. So implementing necessities in the game that requires both player is the key way to make it a co-op game, because you actually need both players or all of the players to solve the problem. I think that's like the perfect sum of a good solution for this kind of problem.
Any other idea? Otherwise, I'll go. Okay.
No, not really, not on the spot.
No, it's
I'm
okay. It's
trying
okay.
to decide.
Then, for me, another element other than necessity, so creating enemies that have necessity and creating difficulties, as Buffy was saying, and creating interaction between the character, which was your first point, having cool stuff like your ultimate does my ultimate thing, is also to create efficiency between the characters, not in the enemies. What do I mean? Now, one of the efficiency that we're seeing here is in the exploration and killing. So I pew pew pew, you eat, we kill the enemy faster. Clap clap clap. Done. But instead, think about efficiency into the player. So, for example, if I beat someone that you are beating, my ultimate charges faster. If I heal you, my I'm healing myself also. If I revive you, we get a higher score at the end. If we, sorry, if I'm next to you, when you do your ultimate, I also get healed by a certain percentage because your ultimate
Yeah.
does damage in the front and healing of the back in the back. So basically, positioning that make us more efficient in being able to do the core loop, which in this case it's killing things. Now, it
Yeah.
is very similar to simple killing, but it's slightly different because killing is already happening efficiently because we're just together. This is, oh, by, you know, having you playing with me, I'm doing the coolest thing that this game has, which is the ultimate. Because let's be honest, when you're doing a game like this, what is the coolest thing to do is to spam your powers. Everyone loves that. Everyone loves when you can do your powers and things. So having co-op abilities that work in that way, basically buffs,
Mhm.
it's a great way to improve that.
Yeah, so makes sense actually. So skills, power ups, and maybe passive abilities that works for also as support. So you were making some examples from D&D. You have full support characters, or you have classes like the Paladin, where you unlock the aura. And the aura of the
Exactly.
Paladin is very, very powerful, and it doesn't only affect the character of the Paladin, but anyone, any ally who is close enough. So you could have some abilities that will buff your combos, or that will charge your ultimate faster, etc. Very interesting, yes.
And Buffy told us also mechanics that are beneficial to the player who casts them in case of spell, but interact with the second player in a different way, allowing them to do something neither of them could do alone. I throw a board that flies around the map and spot enemy. Exactly, exactly. This is
Mm.
another way of taking buffer. Now, in this case, instead of buffing through positioning, you are buffing by giving abilities that we could not have. And the third way that it came to my mind, also thank you, Buffy, for telling this. And someone else join us. Feel free to share with us. Also, thank you for your time first, and share with us what you think about how to solve the co-op problem. And the third way that I see is Divinity Original Sin solution. And you might think, well, 1 and 2, Divinity 1 and Divinity 2 Original Sin solution. And which is combo. Very simple. In Divinity, you have a lot of elemental combos. For example, you can have water, and then water get electricized. You can have poison, and then poison explode with fire. Very simple things. And now you say, okay, why is that is relevant? Well, let's imagine that the character on the right, so War, that has the special ability to summon swords from the terrain, now have and also when he summons sword, the area in which he summons sword leaves oil, petrol, oil, flammable substance. And now let's say that one of the special shoot that Strife has is an explosive. Now we can do a cool combo in which War plunge sword, do AoE damage, create flammable area, and then bam, shoots. And then Strife shoots and make the flammable area explode. Now this, you will say, okay, Diego, but isn't this still technically it's just efficiency in killing? Also, thank you for being here. Buffy, don't worry. You can
Uh,
always see the recorded in YouTube here and on Spotify too. This became a podcast. And yes, technically speaking, you are still doing efficiency, but now it requires a bit of coordination. It requires me to watch the other character to see when War is summoning this oily thing, or is requiring me as War to say to Uriel, "Hey Uriel, by the way," because of course this will at a few seconds and will disappear. "Hey Uriel, I'm about to plunge my sword and creating oil. Keep your fire thing for the next." "Oh yeah, okay, Diego."
Yeah,
This is an
and this
example.
would also make the one player feel empowered by the other, because I feel like I could not have done what I did without the help of the other player.
Exactly. Exactly. And finally, for me, the last point that you need to have, it's still a necessity, but in this case is a meta necessity. So it's a bit weird, but is the necessity of have player talks. Co-op game should require player to talk to each other. Now, when I say talk, I don't necessarily say strategize, okay? But they should have the necessity to at least chit chat on what's happening on screen, or a simple puzzle or stuff like that, even in a basic way, because you want your player to talk a bit, at least use emote if you can't talk a bit, but at least use emotes. This is the minimum level. Now, of course, if it's a high strategy game, you can have them to talk a lot or to talk them in a very meaningful way, but have at least emoji spam or pointing system or stuff like that. It's a requirement if you want to make the player feel in a co-op experience.
Yes, we are right now. We are seeing the other side of the game. It's a minor side. It's the platforming part of the game. So probably to make it a better co-op, we would also need to have some gameplay moments of platforming where you actually need both players to do something or to help each other to proceed, so that you would have the co-op in the combat and the co-op also in the platforming part. Great examples of co-op in platformings come from, for example, oh my god, we also played that game, Trinity.
Yes,
Yes,
the
Trine.
Trine.
Trine, yes.
I'll show it very quickly.
So small powers, in that case, of course, that's most of the game, so there is lots of emergent mechanics, etc. But some of that could be implemented in a game like Darksiders Genesis. And I think Diego fell off. I will just check quickly.
Sorry, everyone, my internet just died for a second.
Okay.
I don't know why. It just decided to kind of like suicided itself for like.
To analyze, we are live. We cannot say that word.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I
Don't
will
worry.
reshare.
Uh,
Uh, it just literally like it actually is the second time it happened today. It happened to um, in Discord this early afternoon. And at a certain point, it died and it just jumped me back again and it was like, "Oh, Diego, did you get out and get in on the call?" I was like, "No," but it kind of died for a second. I think that probably is the fact that maybe my cable might be not as good as new or stuff like that. But
uh,
sorry, you were saying?
don't worry. So, yeah, some of the mechanics, some of the cooperative tricks that they implemented in Trine could be applied also in a game like Darksiders Genesis, and that would make all of the parts of the gameplay actually cooperative. Also, Trine it was a very interesting game. Probably we're going to also talk about this at
Yeah,
some
for sure.
point. Maybe with Alfredo.
Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, one of the things that you can notice in Trine is that every character has one unique specific ability that the other character doesn't have. and this make the player collaborating. They have to, because the only guy you see that can hit and double is the warrior. The only can hit from far away is the, let's say, ranger thief, and the only one who can create and move a certain object is the mage. That's it. There's no other way, no other thing that can overlap. They have necessities that they can only do. And of course, they expanded this in Trine 2 and Trine 3. So it might seem, so well, it's very limited. No, they actually have very cool things they can mix to each other.
Yeah, they created 4 different games with just these same 3 characters.
Exactly. So if War has special abilities, like maybe he's the only character that can deflect ranged attack, and if the Strife was the only character that can actually hit weak spot, being great. That would actually created a unique gameplay. Now, of course, if you're thinking, okay, but if I do that, I don't know, then how can I play single player? Well, you can still do it because you can just switch between the characters. Of course, it's slightly more clunky. Yes, it is. Absolutely. It is a bit more clunky, but it's okay because you have invested all the resources into make a co-op game. Yes, you want to sell it as also single player because it's just more economy efficient to do that, but you want people to experience this game as a co-op game. That's the main thing. And by the way, we did this boss. We did this one,
Yes,
and
we
it was
we
super easy.
completely steamrolled this boss.
Completely
Yes.
and we are not a great player. We steamroll it because even this boss, as you can see, it is clearly not designed to handle 2 players.
Yes.
It's not designed to handle 2 players. It's designed to chase around 1 player because this boss gimmick is the fact that he has a machine gun, so he has very efficient damage. And how do you make boss that can handle 2 players or more players? Well, depends. First, you can design them for that specific thing, but of course, designing them for that is harder and might be not worth it sometime. The other way is to do AoE. Characters that have AoE damage that can do something like 360, like, I don't know, his jump and hit the ground and boom, and it releases a shockwave that goes through the entire arena and ripples. That will hit everyone. Very simple.
Yes.
A guy that summons a meteor storm will hit everyone because it's random spawns everywhere.
Also, bosses that have minions, so they will throw a wave of minions at one character, while the other has to deal with the actual boss.
Exactly. Other ways is boss that requires you to do 2 separate actions at the same time. For example, I need to shoot him while the other character needs to, I don't know, keep the lava. I'm just seeing lava, so I'm thinking lava now. Keep the lava under control. Maybe the boss open a door and the lava is slowly floating, and so one character needs to stop the lava and the other needs to hit. And then maybe when I close the door, the boss open another door, and maybe we switch roles and things like that. So boss that requires basically 2 completely different roles are a great way to have, once again, forced co-op. Another way is what a lot of light MMO does, like Destiny and Destiny 2, which is create specific phases in the boss that require cooperation. For example, in the Vault of Glass, the first raid of the original Destiny, you find a shield, and this shield is creating a bubble that will protect everyone against the boss' ultimate move. Now, if you have the bubble, you can't fight. Pick up the bubble and pick up the shield and use the bubble requires a certain amount of time. So you need 1 characters to always stand still close to the bubble. Notice when the boss is about to do his finishing move. Call everyone, pick up the shield, and keep the shield on while the moss is happening, while the move is happening, uh, and save everyone. And this is a typical move that will feel that you're collaborating because, hey, I have a role, the other people have a role, we need to talk to each other and things like that. This is a typical example. And here we see in the hub.
Yeah, I remember the first time we got to the app, we felt a little bit lost because we literally lost ourselves here, and we were not
Completely lost.
sure where to go next. We went back and forth many times trying to understand. It was a little bit confusing,
Mhm.
but in the end, after understanding actually where we needed to go, I think we did never have this problem again. The hub was
No,
not that big; it was just not so clear the
it
first
was
time.
for me. It was a lack of guidance.
Yeah,
For me, that was the problem. That actually the hub is circular, so it's very easy. You just walk in circle. But nothing tells you the first time you go into the hub that the entrance point is not the exit point. So you just run around searching for an exit, and then you discover that is also the entrance point. It will just teleport you to the next mission, but nothing tells you that. This it's a minor guidance mistake, but the effort on the player is very high because you have no idea where to go.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of. I don't know. I don't know if I have anything else to say on this. The app works as upgrade, so you spend your resources to make your cat stronger or unlock new abilities, and it's mainly that. Also, there is a secret room that you unlock um, when you have unlocked all the secret room in all the levels. So you basically have probably like a secret. As I say, we didn't finish it, so you probably have some sort of uh,
Mhm.
secret boss or secret challenge at the end of the game.
At the end, yeah. I think one maybe interesting last thing to say about the game is the skill tree, the way
Oh
the
yeah,
skill tree is
oh yeah,
managed.
that's
So
actually is interesting. It's true.
yeah,
Let's see if I can
if
find it. While you explain
exactly.
it, let's see if I can find it.
So basically, I need to actually see it because I'm not sure I remember it correctly. But from what I remember, you have this currency that you can either buy at the hub, you can find while
There we go.
exploring,
Here.
or while defeating. Exactly, here we are. While defeating some enemies, some stronger enemies and bosses, they will drop these stuff that you can use to unlock new points in the skill tree. Now, if you see inside the skill tree, there are some points, some
With
icons.
icons. Exactly.
Yeah, thank you.
Like this one.
Uh, exactly, like 3 or 4 specific icons. And if you get the right item to place inside the icon, and they are matching, you will get a stronger effect about that.
Exactly. For
So
example,
you have,
open the
yeah,
speaker.
please.
No, no, go, go, go. No.
So you have to make multiple choices because on one side you want to unlock the effects that you think are stronger. On the other side, you need to choose what to put where, and so you could have like more effects, but slightly less powerful, or maybe less effects, but they are on the right spot and they are stronger.
Mm-mm. And also, it make you think about this. Sometimes maybe it's more efficient to go down because you unlock a special ability from a boss more than go right. And so there is this kind of like decision about direction, pieces, which is actually very interesting. And it gives you a reason to grind because you unlock this orange by beating bosses,
Mm.
and this purple one by doing a generic submission in the mission, like killing 30 enemies, throwing 30 enemies, don't be hit for 30 seconds, things like that. And maybe the don't be hit for 30 seconds give you a purple shard that you need because you really want this, a purple shard of heart that you really want because you really want to unlock the full heart power here. Which is a good idea because, as I say, the problem of this game was it doesn't have enough depth. So a system that kind of make you replay the game and kind of make you grind, it's a good system since the game itself doesn't have enough interest to do that. Yeah, sorry, doesn't give you enough motivation and interest.
Motivation, yeah. This is very appealing for an achiever kind of
It's
player.
super good that you told that. I was completely forgot because we focus entirely on co-op, and actually this may go up because Uriel gave me a better. It was like, oh no, Diego, it's better if we go down and go right and things because unlock. And it was like,
In
oh, you're
fact,
right.
they in this video they are following the exact same
Yeah.
path that we did.
And so this actually is one of the coolest part of the game, and I'm happy that you told it because otherwise it would have been all wrong. Actually, this is a very cool skill tree that a lot of game could copy, and it will work very well. It give you the sense of progression. You can see cool stuff in the future that you want to get. You can reset it, and so you can try different positions. There is actually a lot of cool ideas here.
Yeah.
And we did 45 minutes, so I think it's enough for this game.
Yeah.
As I say, it doesn't have a lot of depth, so there isn't a lot of talking about too. Thank you for following us as always. Thank you for giving us your time. Feel free to join us in the future. Feel free to write a question or to suggest games. And we will see you the next time. Thank you and bye.
Bye.